down, was just down.
From a wild chase of a yellow sports car in Florida, to a suspect who had no choice but to flee on foot with 20 officers hot on his heels, to a high-stakes pursuit where the FBI teams up with Arkansas state troopers to bring it all to a dramatic halt. On a fateful day in Glendale, Wisconsin, 29-year-old Lil Cherry Gallion was caught running out of a Kohl's store with over $1,300 worth of stolen merchandise. The bold theft quickly escalated as Gallion jumped into a getaway vehicle driven by 27-year-old Robert Hill, who sped off in a desperate attempt to flee the scene.
We're in pursuit. Come out past, still in the bank lot, Going through the utilities here, back to the parking lot of Kohl's. They're going to go back westbound, got to go back on into Bayshore. Okay, we are northbound on Bayshore Drive, passing Ulta. Again, ASU 5215. Monitor retail theft, speeds are 40, there's no traffic.
As the suspect tried to exit the parking lot, chaos erupted. He caused significant damage, colliding with multiple patrol cars in the process. With the situation escalating, law enforcement knew they had to stop this reckless driver immediately. The pursuit intensified as multiple patrol units joined the chase, determined to bring this dangerous driver to a halt before more damage was done.
Washington Road. Stop the next, Fort Silver.
Coming up to back in the wrong lanes of traffic here. Coming up to green lights. Doing stop sign. Can I pit if I have a chance?
Found out for Washington, Captain with East South. These are for you, lining up for a pit.
Still southbound.
Found in the northbound lane, passing Mars. There's traffic here. Those are clear and dry. These are 450. We're going to go westbound on Yankton.
The suspect finally came to a stop, but that was far from the end of this wild chase. In a desperate move, he exited the vehicle and fled on foot, continuing to evade capture. The pursuit shifted gears once again as officers quickly adapted to track him down.
Get on the ground!
After a tense foot pursuit, the suspect was successfully stopped and arrested, bringing this chaotic chase to an end. He was taken into custody. The suspect now faces multiple charges, including theft for stealing over $1,300 worth of merchandise from the store, reckless driving, fleeing and eluding, resisting arrest, property damage. On October 11, 2022, Arkansas State Trooper Corbin Freeman spotted a Dodge Challenger weaving dangerously through traffic. A quick check on the license plate revealed it was expired. When the trooper activated his emergency lights and sirens, the driver showed no intention of stopping. What began as a simple traffic stop escalated quickly, with the trooper teaming up with the FBI in a high-stakes effort to bring this dangerous chase to an end.
They're up. We're still slow rolling, coming up to Stagecoach. 63 miles an hour.
The suspect took an unexpected turn, exiting the highway and stopping calmly at the next traffic light. It was a puzzling move that left the trooper and viewers wondering what was coming next. When the light turned green, the suspect proceeded, but just as the trooper pulled alongside, he made a sudden U-turn and accelerated, kicking the chase into high gear once again.
Show me your hands! Don't you put your hands down, you hear me? F out! Lay down on your face! 430 south.
As the suspect took an exit, the trooper seized the opportunity and executed a precise pit maneuver, forcing the vehicle to a stop. The FBI quickly moved in, blocking the suspect's car to ensure there was no chance of escape this time. With nowhere left to run, the suspect was arrested without further incident and taken into custody, finally bringing this intense chase to an end. On November 16, 2023, a routine patrol took an unexpected turn when a black Cadillac sped past a trooper. With lights and sirens activated, the driver, a woman behind the wheel, initially pulled over, but what seemed like a standard traffic stop quickly turned into one of the most unforgettable moments of the trooper's career. What happened next was anything but ordinary.
Whoa. You roll all the way down for me? Do what? Okay. I'm Trooper Lynn with State Police. The reason I'm stopping you today, who are you calling? Why do you need to call her? I'm talking to you.
If something happens,
What's going to happen?
okay.
It's just disrespectful.
Okay.
I'm disrespectful. Well, every time I try to talk, you're like, oh, well, that's what.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, I'm Trooper Lynn with State Police. The reason I'm stopping you today is you came up behind me at 95, and then you passed me going 90, and then you didn't do the turn signal, and you had the brake light out. So you got your driver's license and your registration with you.
Okay.
All right, go ahead and step out. Step to the back of the car for me. I wouldn't do that.
Can't talk to my wife.
I don't care what you're trying to do. You're on the traffic.
The situation took a bizarre turn when the woman behind the wheel called her wife and refused to cooperate with the trooper's instructions. When ordered to step out of the vehicle, she instead put the car in drive and sped off, fleeing the stop and igniting a high-speed pursuit. What started as a routine traffic stop was now spiraling into chaos.
Looks like we're taking Main Street. See if this comment center.
Taking Main Street? Yes, direct.
See if this comment center. Return right on the Main Street.
Getting right in, man.
See if this comment center.
The trooper quickly closed the gap, determined not to let the suspect escape. With every opportunity that presented itself, the trooper was ready to execute a precise pit maneuver, determined to end this chase and bring the suspect to justice.
Light traffic, please, 42. First pass left traffic here, 17 here.
Turn on the Jeff Davis.
Where's 28 come back, people? Good.
Two failed TVIs. We're going back to the main.
Analyze. There's only going to be no address on it.
Two failed TVIs. We're going back to the main. We're in the parking lot now.
2 failed TV guys back towards me.
Turning on to Louise Street.
After 2 failed pit attempts, the pressure was too much for the suspect to handle. Shortly after, they came to a stop and surrendered to the trooper. The suspect was arrested without further incident and taken into custody, finally bringing this wild chase to an end. On August 11th, 2022, what began as a routine traffic stop quickly spiraled into chaos. A trooper identified a black Kia Optima linked to a known gang member, Montrell Jones, a convicted felon and federal firearms suspect. Recognizing the trooper's presence at a local gas station, Jones attempted to conceal his identity, setting off a chain of events no one could predict.
Coming up on 60 pit. About 120. Medium traffic.
300 miles per hour.
It's past 60 pit. We're coming up to you right there, whoever that is.
As the trooper closed the distance, the suspect's driving became even more reckless. Passing vehicles dangerously close, he nearly caused multiple accidents in a desperate attempt to evade capture. Without hesitation, the suspect took an exit, continuing a chase.
We're getting back on 31. 30 west. He just threw something out the window there at the intersection. 1022. We're staying on Young Road. Coming up the Gar Springs.
Young time. Whatever, I'll take a second there. Description. Lucky Optima. Lucky Optima.
North on Gar.
North on Gar.
The trooper closed in once again, ready to put an end to the chaos. As they lined up for a pit maneuver, the suspect suddenly brake-checked, narrowly avoiding the trooper's attempt, but the gap was closing fast, and the trooper was now more determined than ever to bring this dangerous pursuit to a decisive end.
He just brake checked me, caused me to run into him. We're turning around here. Hold up.
Still on Gar Springs, guys.
Tip bar just hit him out. He crashed head on to a pole here, Gar Springs.
Okay, find the pole.
After Montrell Jones was brought to a stop and arrested, he was formally charged with the following offenses: aggravated assault, fleeing, reckless driving, possession of a firearm, possession of marijuana, traffic violations, including driving with expired registration and unverified insurance. Dramatic police dashcam video captures a high-speed pursuit filled with tension and intensity as a yellow sports car speeds away from law enforcement. The officer deployed the grappler to stop the suspect, a rare but effective technique we don't see often in these chases. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Do you think officers should use this technique more frequently? The suspect was quickly brought to a stop and arrested without further incident, ending the pursuit. The pursuit began as following a shots-fired call in Flint City, Genesee County. Officers responded to the area and made contact with multiple residents, investigating the shooting incident. During their patrol, officers identified a white Dodge Charger with a cracked windshield and no license plate, which was believed to be involved in the shooting. Around Ballinger Highway and Flushing Road, the officers located the suspect vehicle stopped at a traffic light. They initiated a traffic stop, but the driver, later identified as Tyree Nazrael Parker, fled, initiating a pursuit.
Dodge Charger, no plate, cracked windshield, match the description of the shooting vehicle. approaching Chevrolet right now. Westbound 8.
Westbound 8.
During the pursuit, Tyree Nazrael Parker drove at a dangerously high rate of speed, showing complete disregard for his surroundings. His reckless driving made it incredibly difficult for officers to keep up with him. Despite the troopers' efforts, Parker's excessive speed and erratic maneuvers put both law enforcement and innocent drivers at significant risk. The chase was intense, and the troopers had to be highly cautious, especially when trying to safely close the distance without escalating the dangerous situation.
We got a red light, no red light. Still westbound Santa Barbara. Westbound, what is there? Coming up the Canterbury Lane. Eastbound.
As the chase intensified, Trooper Whipple executed a pit maneuver, rotating the suspect's vehicle. However, the suspect quickly regained control and accelerated, continuing to flee at high speed. Another trooper briefly took over as the primary unit in the pursuit, but Trooper Whipple quickly regained primary control of the pursuit.
Maneuver attempt. Looks like you might be trying to get on southbound 75. Or my speed wise. 40, 38.
Looks like we got.
He's running, holding his waistband.
Yep, black male, white light. Running across the freeway.
Black male, white.
Coming back up to the overpass.
After the second successful pit maneuver, the suspect's vehicle finally came to a stop. Without hesitation, Tyree Parker exited the vehicle and began fleeing on foot. However, his escape was short-lived. Officers quickly apprehended him, and he was taken into custody without further incident. Parker was later transported to the Genesee County Jail, where he faced a range of serious charges, including fleeing and eluding, felon in possession of a firearm, discharging a firearm from a moving vehicle, and several other offenses. His reckless actions ultimately led to his arrest, and the pursuit came to a close. On the morning of September 18, 2023, a trooper on I-49 near exit 65 detected a black Chrysler 300 speeding at 97 miles per hour through a construction zone. As the car passed, it seemed like the driver was about to pull over, using turn signals to move into the median. But something about this vehicle felt familiar, a detail that would soon make this routine stop anything but ordinary. As the trooper observed the vehicle pulling into the median, a detail clicked. It wasn't just any car. This black Chrysler 300 had been involved in a previous pursuit, fleeing from Washington County deputies just weeks earlier. What started as a routine stop was now shaping up to be something much more intense. The suspect then began driving recklessly on a busy highway, weaving through traffic at dangerous speeds. With no regard for the safety of others, they put countless lives at risk in a desperate attempt to evade capture.
Yeah, go ahead.
You are taking 60?
10-4, we are taking a 60 second.
The suspect's reckless driving nearly caused multiple accidents as he veered dangerously through traffic. Even after taking an exit from the highway, his erratic behavior continued. Troopers found it difficult to close the gap safely, but they weren't about to back down. They were determined to bring this chase to an end. The suspect made a sharp left turn, heading straight into a residential area, weaving through streets in a desperate bid to escape. But just when you think it couldn't get more intense, they veered onto a dirt road, kicking up clouds of dust that left the trooper struggling to keep visual contact. Yet the chase wasn't over. The trooper locked in on the trail of dust left behind.
Wearing a gray shirt and black shorts. Gray shirt, black shorts.
The suspect finally came to a stop and bolted from the car, disappearing into the woods. After a tense search, troopers located and arrested him, bringing the chase to an end. Just as the situation calmed, the suspect's car erupted into flames, reigniting the intensity of the moment. But the quick-thinking trooper sprang into action, extinguishing the fire before it could cause further damage. This chase had twists until the very end. From a suspect who led Lufkin police on a wild pursuit through a cornfield, to a biker who thought he could outplay an Arkansas state trooper, to the moment LAPD officers chased a cyclist on the freeway after he shot a family member. Lufkin police engaged in a pursuit involving a woman who had stolen a blue pickup truck. As she led officers down a dirt road, quick thinking came into play. An officer successfully deployed spike strips, deflating her tires and giving law enforcement a clear advantage in managing the situation right from the start.
104, take the passenger side tires line, got hit by the spike strip.
She took a ditch, you know, driving through the cemetery. I'm ready to go.
A second deployment of spike strips proved even more effective, causing the suspect to lose control of the stolen pickup as she re-entered the roadway. This critical move by law enforcement brought the pursuit closer to a safe resolution.
52 coming up Dudley Road.
The woman struggled to maintain control of the vehicle for nearly a minute before swerving off the road and crashing into a pole. Officers quickly approached, arresting her without any further resistance. This dramatic chase came to an abrupt end, thanks to their swift response and strategic use of spike strips. On October 5th, around 6 p.m., an officer attempted to stop a vehicle he had encountered earlier in the week, knowing it had an expired license. During the stop, it was discovered the car was reported stolen. The driver, Matthew Aldrich, took off, leading officers on a chaotic pursuit. We don't see pursuits like this every day. This suspect thought that cutting through a cornfield would be his ticket to freedom, but his reckless attempts didn't end there. He took his dangerous driving into residential neighborhoods. The chaotic pursuit came to a dramatic end when the driver recklessly drove into a deep ditch. Both the driver and his female passenger bailed out of the vehicle. While the driver managed to escape at the scene, the female passenger, identified as Shelby Ann Dieterle, was apprehended. She claimed not to know the driver but was taken into custody and transported to the Wood County Jail. As for the driver, Matthew Aldrich, 43, he was later arrested in Seneca County on unrelated charges. Fostoria Police Chief Gabe Wedge confirmed that once the investigation concludes, additional charges will be filed against Aldrich for his role in the pursuit. On September 12, 2019, Edward Hopkins of Houston and another man identified as Tony Mitchell, 42, of Houston, robbed First State Bank of Louise at gunpoint. The men fled the bank with an undisclosed amount of cash. DPS received information that Hopkins was in the Lucan area, headed north on Loop 287 in a black Dodge Challenger RT. Police say officers attempted to stop a vehicle. As officers attempted to box in the suspects, they quickly escaped by accelerating at high speeds. This reckless decision to flee would prove to be one of the worst choices of their lives.
Like I go, so if I have units near wherever it rains, I do good spot sometimes. Right now, at high rate of speed.
Shortly after accelerating, the suspects lost control, veering off the road and crashing into trees at a high rate of speed.
Right on the golf course. The power is out. It's confined to the motor. I'll be checking the suspect.
As the officer exited the vehicle and began searching for the suspects, both men succumbed to their injuries after the horrific crash. This tragic outcome serves as one more reminder: never flee from law enforcement. On July 27, 2023, Trooper William Robbins was positioned in a stationary patrol when a biker zoomed past him at an alarmingly high speed. Reacting swiftly, Trooper Robbins engaged his patrol car, activated the lights and sirens, and began closing in on the speeding motorcyclist.
Unlicensed motorcycle. Just trying to run from it.
The biker initially accelerated in an attempt to create distance, but then slowed down upon realizing Trooper Robbins was in pursuit. To add to the suspense, the rider even signaled as if intending to pull over. But was he truly planning to comply, or was it just a deceptive move? Let's find out.
Going down here at exit 4. We're here at Festival Street. He's motioning like he's gonna stop. We'll see. You better stop. You better stop.
Well, it turns out the biker was just toying with the situation. After pretending to pull over, he suddenly accelerated, taking off again. Trooper Robbins quickly informed other units that he was now in pursuit. Looks like the rider thought outrunning the ticket was a better option.
City unit.
What color is the bike?
It's in black and red.
The trooper stayed right on the biker's tail, maintaining relentless pressure, despite the biker's desperate attempts.
He's in a residential area.
Yeah, 10.
What kind of speed you get?
I'm gonna shoot you. I'm gonna shoot you. We're at parking lot right now. Back on Crescent.
We can get you stopped there pretty quick. He knows getting reckless.
Sooner or later, reckless driving always catches up with you, and for this biker, it was sooner. His desperate maneuvers finally led to a critical mistake. It's almost unbelievable. The biker, after all his reckless actions, still had the audacity to remind the trooper he was being recorded. But it didn't matter. His escape attempt ended the moment he crashed. Trooper Robbins wasted no time, leaping into action and restraining the biker, leaving no room for further escape. The chase was over and the biker was promptly arrested and taken into custody. On November 20th, 2024, Trooper was traveling south on US Highway 63 when a white Nissan passenger car passed by with what appeared to be an expired license sticker. The trooper turned around to verify the tags, only to realize that the driver had accelerated, reaching speeds of over 85 miles per hour. The trooper then activated the lights to conduct a traffic stop. The driver made an abrupt turn onto Harmony Church Road, prompting the trooper to notify dispatch that he was in pursuit of the white Nissan passenger car. The suspect was driving at a dangerously high rate of speed, exceeding 100 miles per hour in a 40 miles per hour zone. Trooper remained close behind, carefully monitoring the situation, waiting for the right opportunity to bring the chase to an end as quickly and safely as possible. Trooper managed to get closer and executed a pit maneuver, sending the suspect's vehicle into a ditch. The suspect then exited the vehicle and fled into the woods, leaving his cell phone behind. He was later identified and faces multiple charges, including felony fleeing, felony criminal mischief, fleeing on foot, speeding reckless driving, leaving the scene of an accident, failure to obey a stop sign, failure to report an accident, driving on a suspended license. On October 10th, 2023, instead of paying a ticket, one driver decided to test the Arkansas State Troopers. Now, we all know how skilled they are and that they show no mercy for suspects like this. But let's see how this one plays out.
Here we are. Arkansas 362, Union David, 362, Union David. It's going to be a goal.
The driver initially pulled over to the side of the road, but as soon as the trooper exited their patrol vehicle, they took off, fleeing the stop. If there's one thing that's certain, it's that moves like this only make the troopers even more determined and furious.
Right around the median. We're back. Northbound 67. One pit.
Right around the median.
Second pit.
Let me see your hands! Say hands in the air! Hands in the air!
Well, this is exactly how you end up when you challenge Arkansas State Troopers. Swiftly stopped and taken into custody.
Now, put your stomach on the ground! Put the stomach on the ground! Put your stomach on the ground! Put your stomach on the ground! Hey, we'll get you there, but you listen. Quit.
On August 13th, 2024, an FHP trooper on patrol in Palm Beach County, Florida, observed a white sedan speeding and failing to maintain its lane on 45th Street. The vehicle, a 2018 Chevy Malibu, fled when a traffic stop was attempted, leading to a pursuit. A pit maneuver was performed to stop the vehicle, preventing further danger to the public. Jackson was apprehended and found to be in possession of marijuana. He exhibited signs of impairment, such as slurred speech and poor balance, but refused field sobriety tests and did not provide a breath sample. He was transported to the Palm Beach County Jail and charged with fleeing and eluding, reckless driving, DUI, operating without a valid license, and possession of marijuana.
LA City 911, number 566.
I'm here to make a report on an adult. He has a weapon on him. I really got shot by him.
When did you get shot?
Just a couple minutes ago.
Okay, you need a paramedic?
No, I don't need a paramedic. My mom's already taking me, but I just here to make a report on him.
In Los Angeles, California. On April 26, 2024, Northeast uniformed officers responded to a shooting investigation. Upon arrival, officers determined that the suspect, identified as 24-year-old John Lopez, had shot a family member following a verbal dispute and was no longer at the scene. Shortly after a crime broadcast was initiated, an air unit located Lopez riding a bicycle south on the 5 freeway.
At the scene. Was there any chasing or anything? 11:42 is on, roger that. There was a victim hit and they were taking recovered.
It's a concept. Yeah, he's gonna tire, but he's got like a sound.
Shooting suspect. Mark off baby competition. And we've got the city units. Mark on daily formation for the units.
Lopez eventually exited the freeway via the Mission Road off-ramp, continuing to ride his bicycle in and out of traffic. After turning north onto Daly Street, a Hollenbeck officer strategically used his patrol vehicle to strike Lopez, causing him to lose control of the bicycle and fall onto the roadway. Lopez was immediately apprehended without further incident. He complained of pain in his knees and was treated at a local hospital before being booked on charges of attempted murder. The victim, who had sustained non-life-threatening injuries, was held overnight at the hospital for observation. Thankfully, no officers or community members were injured during this pursuit. A small caliber firearm was recovered at the scene as Lopez was taken into custody. On Tuesday, June 20th, 2023, Conway Police Department alerted Arkansas State Police about a pursuit involving a brown Ford Explorer within their city. Shortly after joining the chase, Trooper Ronald Grace took over as the primary unit in the pursuit. As soon as Trooper Ronald Grace joined the pursuit, he executed a precision TVI maneuver, bringing the suspect's vehicle to a stop. Troopers quickly exited their patrol cars and arrested the suspects without further incident. In total, there were 7 occupants inside the car, 4 of whom were juveniles. On November 22, 2024, Troop A Dispatch advised that Garland County Sheriff's Office was in pursuit of a vehicle, a red-colored Mitsubishi Mirage. Trooper observed a vehicle matching the provided description, a red Mitsubishi Mirage, traveling west on U.S. Highway 70, with a Garland County deputy actively pursuing it. Trooper turned around and quickly caught up to the pursuit, traveling behind the deputy until Trooper received verification that they were requesting the assistance of Arkansas State Police.
Highway 70.
As soon as Trooper Justin Parker was en route to assist and took over the pursuit, he executed a successful TVI, bringing the suspect to a stop. The suspect was arrested without further incident. The Garland County Sheriff's Office took custody of the suspect, identified as Brian Dawson, and transported him to the Garland County Detention Center. As a result of the TVI on the fleeing suspect, Trooper's patrol car sustained damage to the front bumper and fender area, with the cost of the damage still unknown at this time.